Hey, Ines.
Hello, Remigius. Waiting for everyone to join. We
Yes,
are live.
finally. Time flies. Those preparation days went very fast.
Exactly. So I see that already 17 people is listening to us.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, while maybe everyone is still joining, more than what we can tell is that you can you can use the chat button in this section, and whenever you have some questions, so you can just type it there, and then we will at the end we will go to those questions and look on that. Right, Remigius?
Yes, exactly. So, Ines, we are waiting for a few minutes to
Yes.
join for everyone.
Yes, we are
Okay,
waiting.
great. Let's see.
I know that we asked we had a question. I don't know, Remigius, if you had. I had a question about the language. If there would be possibility to do that in Russian, in Latvian, in Lithuanian. So I think this is a good start, and then we will see if it will be needed. So I think we can do a translation for this video as well, right?
Yeah, yeah, and of course to learn a new language such as Estonian or whatever.
Sure, I can learn Lithuanian, and you can learn Latvian.
Yes.
I think so. Good. Some will wait for our moderator Lina to join a bit.
Hi there, guys.
Hi,
Hello,
Lina.
Lina.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry about being late. I had some technical troubles.
It's all good. We are live, so if there is some technical issues, then we are seats. So it's live. All good.
Okay, so probably we're going to wait for like additional couple of minutes for the rest of the participants to join, and then we'll be able to start with today's topic. So just going to be patient for a few more minutes, okay? I see people are already sending hellos on the chat. Hello to everyone as well. Okay, so you've been talking about something, Jan Tremigis. Sorry for interrupting you.
No, we're waiting you to join. So
we were thinking about that. We need to learn as well new languages to do these webinars in other languages like Latvian, Lithuanian, as there was some personal requests which I got as the messages. So why not? Why not?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Or we can use some kind of digital solutions which translates the language on the go. So
yes,
it's also possible.
Yeah, we can for the next webinar, we can, set up different meeting rooms. Maybe one is led by Yanis in Latvian and another one is led by Remigijus in Lithuanian. So
yeah, why not? Or in English.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, so I think Lina, we can start because we have a recording, and yeah, those who are late will be able to see video recording later.
Yeah, absolutely. So as Remigijus just mentioned, guys, so just to let you know, the webinar will be recorded and we will be sharing the video with you after the webinar. So you will be able to check it out afterwards, or maybe share it with other people that you might think that they would find it interesting. So probably today we can start with our topic, how much should your business care about customer experience in 2022? And our agenda will be as following. So the first topic will be customer experience, touch points, or the journey, and what is more important. The second one will be customer experience. Where do we lose it? And the third touch point is what can we do? So these three topics will be digged in by our today's speakers, by Yanis and Remigius. So Yanis is the VP of Sales at Frontu, and Remigius is founder of SaaS for Solutions. So both of these guys are very experienced in SaaS solutions, and I'm sure that you will be able to get to know a lot of new information today, and that might be useful for your business in the future. So probably we can start with Remigius, right?
Yeah, thank you, Lina. Hello, everyone. So I'm glad to be here today with you. So we'll have some time, and but we are, how to say, important to say that the information for today is prepared on very high level, and we won't dig deeper and very deep into the processes and the methods. We'll go on very similar things, what may be improved to achieve the best customer experience. So first things first, we all in business want to provide the best service or the products, but the products or service alone doesn't mean the great success for the business. We need to apply the constant improvements to the products or services to fit with competitive market and customer needs. So it's clear. So why customer experience as a topic for today? The topic for today as a customer of experience is because it's our actual product which we are providing to the customer. Customer buys our products and the services, but the most important thing is how they feel or felt with everything around the product or the service during the journey, during each separate touch point when we contacted with customer, when customer contacted us. And this is what we're gonna talk about today. So, okay, let's eat elephant piece by piece and start from the three main verticals of the customer experience. So the first one vertical is what happens with the customer, what happens with the interaction, what happens with the communication, what happens with the customer during customer experience. The second one, what customers feels about their experience. So how they feel, how we approach them, how we reacted fastly with clear communication, with good instructions, and so on and so on. Third one, what customers do as a result of their experience. So all those three pillars are the main pillars of customer experience, but it's not only the only three things which is very important in the business. Looking from customer experience, each of that pillar have way more KPIs, way more measurements, way more things what to look for if we want to provide the best service in class. So customer experience may be related to soft behavioral psychology initiatives such as employees' behavior, eyes contact, tone of the voice, etc., etc., and the hard improvements in operations, waiting time, issues with the product, missed or wrong information about the product, and much more. So a lot of things and parts to mess up, right? Yeah. So let's try to not to mess up. Let's try to build the business with the highest performance as possible. And when we are talking about the customer experience, the question appears: touch points or the journey? And what's the difference? The difference between the touch points and the journey is that touch points is a single point of interaction with the customer, while the journey describes our path and the experience of the customer. So this is the difference. During the journey, customers may have a lot of different touch points from the different employees, different departments, different things which we are providing together with our products including as well. So big blocks from the touch point may have several different touch points in it, as I told it before. So let's look into it like in some kind of segments, which we are dividing the process or the journey in the business by segments, and those segments we are dividing into processes, separate processes. So when we are measuring the customer experience per exact touch point, it can show very high results. For example, agent customer satisfaction was 19%, call center satisfaction was 85%, web 85%, support 90%. Looking from that kind of perspective and that kind of angles, it may sound like everything is okay with my business. Customers are satisfied because each of our separate touch points performs quite well. But in reality, it's not always true. In reality, sometimes and quite oftenly, the overall customer satisfaction is way lower than the satisfaction per exact touch point. And the survey of the McKinsey found out that it's a very common thing in the businesses. After a lot of different surveys, we found out that it's a very common thing, and in the market, companies who takes care not only about the touch point satisfaction, but about the overall customer journey, they win the market and they are best in class. So going further, improving the journey is a key to success, and this is what we will try to analyze a bit during today's 30 or 40 minutes, which is going with the next slides. Cool. So customer experience, where do we lose it? And this is the question which I like to present over the example. When I'm personally thinking about to buy something which is not bread on the shelf, this is how I expect it to be. No offense, but honestly, I want to buy the service and never see you again. It doesn't apply for all of your customers or you as customers or buyers, but it applies to a lot of people in the world. So in other words, saying I expect to have a smooth and shortest possible process to get what I need. I call it buy goodbye process. I need something. I thought about I got a request in the business. I need to fix something and so on. So what I do first, I Google it. When I found the Google search the list of possible providers, I try to figure out a little bit more, then buy it. And after the buying process is ended, I say goodbye and happy me by using the product. This is ideal process of how I may imagine or how I expect to be. But is it in reality like that? Have you experienced such a smooth process a lot? I'm not. And what happens in reality? In reality, it happens some kind of different path with a lot of different curves. And one of experiences appears or shows themselves as good ones, and now ones not so. So what happens? We have a lot of different reasons, and different reasons may be related to the soft ones and the hard ones. But basically, if you are taking simple example like online shopping, bad customer experience may appear from long registration, difficult user interface, credit card not in my pocket, agree with no newsletters, agree with terms and conditions, etc., etc., etc. A lot of things which makes user nervous before even he bought the product. If we are talking about on-site shopping, I came to the shop, I see the long queue. I get annoyed because I'm busy, I want to go somewhere else, I want to be somewhere else, and so on. Maybe the shop which I need is in another city. I need to ask my friends to buy something, or I need to go there by myself. And maybe while I was going to that shop, the product was out of the stock because it was sold out. Buying with services is now a thing. When we're buying online or face to face by agreeing with something with the seller, we need to get the offer. It takes time. We need to sign the contract. We need to install the device by ourselves, or set up a product, find the help, etc., etc. And in each separate touch point of the journey of the customer, we may mess up, and that causes the bad customer experience. So here arise two questions: what and how I can do with my journey to be the best in class? Only two questions, and then let's try to answer to those questions. So, okay, let's take a real example. A company A, which is a home security product and service provider for B2B and B2C segments. Company A makes outbound and inbound sales, invests a lot in marketing, support customers remotely and on premises. So in the shown example, we see segmented customer journey on the big picture. By digging into each of the segment, we will find at least few different touch points with the customer which may impact its satisfaction. So starting from the beginning, first of all, if we are looking for the services or exactly, I don't know, camera, smoke detector or something is needed for me like a customer, I Google it, find the solution provider, try to read it about it, and then looking how to buy it. So have you ever experienced when you leave a message over the dev request form to the company and you never get a reply back? I had, and quite a lot of times I have this experience. I don't know why, but usually companies replies quite fast, all good, but some of the companies, and where I need it most, doesn't reply. So that means they lost me as a customer, because if I don't get the reply fast, I try to call them. Sometimes there is no phone to why I wish to call to them, and then I go to another service provider. So this is one thing. The problem is we lost customer and lost revenue, even we getting it to the pipeline. How to solve it? Integrate it with CRM solutions, CRM systems to register, to take all registrations from web forms to the CRM pipeline with target and automated tasks for the sales to contact automatically in timely limits. For example, for each new customer request, I need as a salesman to call it in 15 minutes or 30 minutes. So doing that, you will show you will meet high customer expectations, and you will win the customer probably. So next stage, calls. This part is very interesting because a lot of business deals happens over the call, and at least in Baltic countries, some statistics shows that 94% of the calls are originated in mobile networks. So the question for you: what number you are presenting in your website? If you are presenting the fixed line landline mobile number or mobile number, are you using the solution to manage all those calls? If yes, perfect, you're doing a good job. At least you're tracking and logging all the information. How many customers called, how many calls we have missed, what is the average customer calling duration, and so on and so on. And based on that info, you are able to decide how you're performing. Are you losing? Are you, going on the top direction with your customer satisfaction? If not, then this is the part where you need to consider some kind of actions from your company and business perspective. First of all, if your guys are talking with customers over the mobile phones, then you need to understand, are you losing something or not? And it's impossible to understand if you're not having any kind of solutions. So luckily, in past few years, in the market appeared mobile telephony solutions, which tracks all information about the calls, is able to set up the IVRs, group callings, statistics, voice prompts, call recordings, and you are able to use that for very little amount of money per number. And those kind of solutions may be integrated with CRM to provide all information and allow you to analyze that later. Lost emails and conversations data. How many times you needed to reply one more time to or send the email a few times in a row to get the answer which we needed? This part solved is very simply synchronizing the all email conversations and setting the targets for those emails to track the lost ones or those ones who was not replied in some kind of time frame. When we are coming to other channels, it may be whatever you want. It may be web banners, it may be physical shops, it may be repetitive or irrelevant messages as a spam messages. It may be treated out of date or self-made materials. You name it. A lot of parts where we should look into when we are analyzing the customer journey which they are having with us. So tips from section. Web. Integrate your web leads to CRM and set the targets to call in 50 minutes or so. It may be so that your internal teams, employees or sales or support guys may not agree with you that it's possible, but when you are starting to do it, it very fast shows the results and the impact of it from the point of view. Customer experience, and secondly, in the revenues growth. Implement call management solution for your calling channel if you haven't done it yet. So this is, I treat it as must to have. It may vary from the business, but if you are keen to provide the best service and your employees and a lot of different employees communicates with the customers directly, you probably should track the calls. You probably should record the calls and analyze them and use that information to improve the employees' behavior, the employees' work, and to help them to provide the best work and best service in the class. So when we're talking about emails, synchronization emails of the CRM saves a lot of time of people who are contacting the customers, who are communicating with them. It keeps the history and allows you to feel the pulse of the customer and the overall of the business. Other channels, set the standards. If we are talking about engineers, set the standards, how you look, how you behave, how you speak, how you introduce yourself, etc., etc. A lot of things to look into that part. If you use marketing materials, are your guys are using the same marketing materials? Are they up to date? Track the relevance and keep them up to date. Going further, next vertical is customer onboarding, and in this part we are looking from the offer. Let's imagine that with company A, customer agreed with the offer over the phone or in the shop, and then he asked to send the offer over the email. Have you waited it too long? Have you got it in a plain text of the email? How much effort your salesman needs to put into it, to prepare it, to send it to the customer, to convert to PDF if it's prepared in Word document or Excel? The problem is that timing, when customer agree that, okay, give me the proposal, I'm buying the service, the timing is very important because customer may change his mind. He may have enough time to talk with your concurrents in the market. He may have a lot of time to change his mind. So quality of information is also very important, which information we are providing and how we are doing it, because it must to be easy to understand the value of the solution and why I need it. So as a solution, it might be automated proposals generation, set up data templates with little creativity of the employees. So marketing team prepares the templates, uploads them to the for example, CRM system, and the salesman or support guys or whatever who needs to provide the offer for the customer, just by a few button clicks, generates the offer and sends it directly from the system. So it saves a lot of time, it gives clarity, and you are using always up-to-date information for the customers. Second part is agreement. Customer already got the offer, agreed with the offer. Maybe there was some kind of negotiations over the phone or the same emails. And then he says, okay, I want your service. Please provide the agreement. And this part often takes a lot of time for the users in the company to prepare it, to fill the requisites, to look into and change maybe the conditions of the agreement, to make a lot of changes and convert it to the PDF document and send it. But sometimes agreements are sent in Word document. Sometimes documents are forgot to be sent. And sometimes it happens that I need to wait a lot of time to sign an agreement, but I'm already decided to sign it, but I may change my mind. So the problem is that it takes time for employees. It takes time for your potential customer to wait to sign it. It also documents may be generated on the paper and then sent over the post or email, or a salesman goes to the customer location to sign it physically. It is also an issue because it wastes the time for traveling, for assigning the document. It costs the money to print the paper and to store it in archive later. And of course, it cuts the trees. So the solution is to go to the digital agreement signing. It doesn't matter, you are working online and making agreements without meeting the customer, or the customers comes to your shop to sign it on the premise. There is a solutions to digital that part of processes, and all documents may be integrated and synchronized with the CRM and customer card, as well as customer self-service support. And this each part of this process makes importance in customer's experience as well, because for him it was very easy, it was very clear. I know where the documents are stored, I know what conditions I have, and I can check them in any time. Good. Going further, invoice. Okay, with invoices, to be honest, it's not usual case to be late. Oftenly, when we get the yes from the customer, we try to send the invoice as soon as possible. But and we are quite successful in that, to be honest. So the invoice, what kind of issues it may create in customer experience and the employees who is working with the sale and this process. So maybe your invoices are get generated manually from the Excel document. Maybe it's done by your accountant or office administrator. That means another person who needs to finish your job. Again, the problem appears in time and needed effort to make to finish the deal and to get the money from the customer. So would you like to generate invoice by a few clicks directly from the offer which was confirmed by the customer? I think a lot of the sales would say yes. And there are solutions for that. When you have sent the offer for the customer got it, review it, said yes, okay, then you just press a few buttons and you get the invoice for the customer, which you can send in the same few clicks. So, and finally, it makes things more fun to work with. Going further, after the customer bought the products, those products must be delivered or installed on customer premises. So if you are delivering and it's do it by yourself thing, I don't know, smoke detector, simple home camera, or something else, then you need to provide for the user with delivery information. How fast you will get it, tracking number, and so on. And if you messed up, Okay, sorry guys, update information, give gifts like coffee cup or something in nearest gas station or somewhere else. If it's related with installation, when your engineer needs to come to physical location of a customer, then it's very important to how your employees behaves, how your engineer looks like, how he took the shoe off when he entered your home, have he agreed with time before arriving. The problem is, another problem is that a lot of information are lost during the data transition between salesman and field service engineer. So, field service engineers may not have the exact information what was sold, what was the request of the customer, special needs, and so on, and so on. Maybe time when he can accept you as a engineer to install the service which you bought before. A lot of places to look into as well. So in this part, we covered offers, send it as agreed, give time to think for the customer, don't forget to follow up, automate reminders, and set up-to-date templates. Agreements, automate the process, make paper agreements digital, sign them over the air, save trees. Invoicing, create invoices from the offers, not missing any details from it. And save, of course, the employee's time and shorten the time for the customer of the invoice delivery. Delivery of the product which you sold to the customer. Update the order information on the go. Inform delays about the delays proactively. Give gifts if messed up. And of course, the last one, but the least one, create tasks and synchronize important data with the field service managed team. It solves a lot of problems and it makes the internal team's satisfaction way higher than it was before data wasn't synchronized in all scale. So the next slide and the next segment after the sale and the successful installation doesn't end. The work with the customer haven't ended, so we need to keep them happy after it as well. So Yanis, the word for you. Please share your huge knowledge and the best practices of this segment because you are the best in this market.
Yes, thank you, Remigius, very much. And what you said already, you did a very good introduction. I mean, it's very important for field service management or after sales support to get all the needed information to proceed with different kind of tasks. And what I will do, I will focus on four main parts, which I think is pretty important for today to have to companies being able to do that, achieve. And after sales service or support is, after Remigius have helped you to sell this product, you have to support it. You have to provide an advice for the customer. You have to onboard the customer. You have to be ready to respond to his questions. And today you have you could be several steps ahead your competitors if you can do it remotely. So that's one very important part where you look on remote, let's say, support. As well as important is to look on premises support, which is depending on country and industry. And by the way, that's very interesting, guys. Still every day here, a lot of companies who are coming and saying, I would say the most of the companies, still there is a half of the companies who are working on paper basis on after sales support part. That's and the same. There is interesting part that some of companies are saying that yes, we are digitalized. So, and when I'm looking deeper into that specific situation, I just understand that this digitalized means just like PDF document, which could be filled in the field, and as well shared document forms, which has no link with the process which Remigius already told before. So field service technician don't have any kind of documents in the field. So when doing that on-premises support. The next point is very important, is warranty, or we can call it also the data. And that is very important to have a clue for field service management, for field service manager, for field service worker who is in the field, to being able to have access to all the needed data to understand warranty dates for that specific device or equipment or product which you're supporting. So the communication with the customer could be much faster, and you could, how to say, increase the first time fix rate. No, the last but not the least is, of course, preventive maintenance. And here, I often hear that customers are saying that our after sales service department, our technician department, is small, and we are not very important, and that part is not very important to our business. It doesn't bring us so big revenue, and that's why it's okay to have an Excel or some Google sheet, or that's it, without any integration. Always, what I'm saying, always to have something is better to don't have anything. It's always better. So if you have at least Excel, that's like a first step. It's already better than nothing. And still, always I ask these questions for those companies who are saying that our after sales support is very small, not very important, and we don't want to invest. And then my question is about, is that company planning to grow? I mean, if any company could look at how they gather their customers, so I would say in the most of the cases, more than 50% of new customers come from referrals. And then my question is are your customers satisfied enough to refer your product to the partner company? To do that by preventive maintenance, by data analysis and artificial intelligence, you can generate more happy customers with generated new referrals, meaning that gathering those data using BI solution, using IoT devices to fix the issue before it appears. That's as well a very important part, which I can. And, it's very important before we move on is to notice that service department or after sales support is not just supportive function as it is considered in some of these cases, some of the cases in the business, but it is, I would say it's one of very important business areas which can even earn and bring new opportunities and not be only as a spender. And yeah, let's look on opportunities and challenges. So what I see here is one very important point here is to look on automation and digitalization of your workflow, of your processes. And that's what we are talking about a little bit today as well, linking different kind of solutions. So meaning that you can try to look for one best solution, which is working for every department. Not sure if you will succeed, but I'm sure if you can look for specific solutions which have a very good integration between them, so you can easily automate those processes. Linking with, let's say, for example, your product even can provide information about some needed fixes or maintenance, which can be sent automatically to the system, and system generates the tasks. The next point is mobility. So mobility meaning that your technicians or field workers can have everything what they need, all needed information in one place. So they can have a mobile app where they can find the history, they see the materials, they see the jobs, they can add the photos, they can see the previous task which was made, they can update the task statuses, and so on. So again, we are looking on ability to fix issues more often in the first visit. And the third one is predictive maintenance by artificial intelligence with big data and machine learning, which I would say is coming here already for some time and now getting more available for every company. And I would say that it is not enough for engineers to sit around and wait for customers to call for repairs or service requests. In fact, I would say that there is, thanks to connected Internet of Things technologies, even preventive maintenance has become a very, very big thing of the past. And a very good example is that you can look, for example, when you go to pick up the coffee, you can imagine. So how in the life they did, like how they know when the coffee is over. Okay, they get the signal, right? So the machine is having some kind of points, and then we can make a trigger that when the coffee or sugar or milk is over, so you send it directly to your field service technician or to the manager who is filling that by creating those tasks, and meaning that you can even create those tasks by the road, optimize the road, including the fleet management and so on. The next point is training and onboarding. Training and onboarding for field workers, because what we are looking now that, yes, it's, I would say, a very big challenge for today to find an employees. That I would say is the first challenge. But when you find when you find those employees who like field workers, then it's very easy not forget about those kind of like soft skills like leadership, teamwork, communication skills, problem solving, and so on. Because technician not always is just technician, and to keep those people in your team, it's not enough that they know all the technical requirement, and we just say, okay, here is your tablet, let's go and work, and then we expect something from them. And then again, remote support, which is opportunity and challenge, I would say, together with augmented and virtual reality. I would say a lot of simple tasks could be solved remotely if we onboard customers correctly. So meaning here that, there is already a lot of different solutions where you can look into problem fixing side remotely. So meaning that you can provide a customer a link so customer can log in and tell you the problem in video conference call, which is included in your system, and basically your technician can solve it sitting in office, as there could be that kind of problems as well. Good. And then we are looking on the data. I would say data is one of very, very important part, which a lot of companies are leaving behind and saying, yeah, so we need to grow, and we are looking on sales a lot, but we are sometimes forgetting about after sales support and the data which is generated by after sales support, meaning that we gather a lot of data. The biggest impact with customer or interaction with customer is not with the sales guy, meaning that field worker is the one guy who is in a lot of cases best friend of the customer, and in some of the cases he's much better for doing the sales than the sales guy. And if we gather those data about good points, best practices, if we gather that data as well about those kind of situations, so we can even do the sales with after sales support. Also about the data which can be linked with predictive maintenance. That is as well important to do that. The third point, you need data. Yes, and let's move on. And here I want to add one more tip. Let's say note that some of field service workers, see themselves as responsible for retention, and I have seen a lot of companies where technicians basically is the sales guy. They are going to customer, and they are providing new information with let's say showing the new products, onboarding with new features, upselling, let's say, subscription plan for maintenance, and so on. I would say so. This is the right way how to do that. Then what we are looking as well on provide all needed information and training materials for the technicians, as I already mentioned. So this guys, think about that, about your after sales support, and work with them the same way as you do with the sales guy, even if they are quiet or very important that, every day I hear that those issues, we don't want to have any application because our guys' fingers are very big, they cannot touch the application, they are dropping the phone, that's not the right solution, so we will use the paper. Usually what I respond to those kind of customers, I'm saying, so you are not the first one. It's been for already at least 1 decade. People are doing that with big fingers, working outside, dropping the phones. So why you can't? And then, of course, we are looking on improving the forecast and planning. When you have a good data, when you are collecting the data about tasks which you are doing, about most efficient employees, about most efficient ways how to plan your tasks, then you can make a better decision, make a better planning and forecasting. It's not about that. Imagine, for example, you have a lot of paperwork. So believe me, I see every day that companies who are having, let's say, manual work, to make a decision based on real life data, they need to gather that information at least for several days when all the data is, let's say, added in the system manually. So what we are talking here is that you can see live data. And all good. My light is already off. You see, that's a signal that I have to end my speech. Yes, and again, access for live database and historical information for better diagnostics. So remember, that is very important that your field technicians can have access to historical data, to database, which they need to do this different kind of tasks. As well, the next thing is standardize the pricing to save time for technicians by agreeing on some custom prices and discounts. So making the process as standardized as possible for field workers. It could be with different kind of discounts from the sales side and so on, but make it simple for after sales support to do it, to help the sales guys for even increasing the sales and improving the customer satisfaction. And of course, involve customer in the process, involve customer in the process of fixing something, involve customer into giving the feedback about your services, involve customer to the process of some changes. And by this, companies will not only improve their customer experience, but also increase their first-time fixed rate, what will lead for higher revenue. That will be it from my side, and I'm more than open for the questions. As you understand, I can speak about field service management all day long, but thanks a lot for sharing this time.
Yeah, thanks, Ennis. By listening to you, my imagination painted the very innovative field service engineer who is going with a tablet and makes all his work about a part of the physical work which is needed to install the product or maintain something, makes everything, creates all data, checks all data in the tablet. And do you understand it correctly that this service after sales support or support in general may be not only a cost center of a company, but a revenue generator center in the company. Is it the main message from your side?
Yes, exactly. So that's I would say that's like a trend which is already more and more companies announcing that and understanding that some time ago it was like that. If you have a product, you are selling the product, and then it's like a tooth pain that yes, I need to provide the service for that product. So it was just like a supportive function. Nowadays, after sales support is not like supportive, it's like a separate area, separate department which can bring additional revenue.
Cool. So I never thought about it, and now I'm trying to imagine a real situation when I have complaints about something and call to the call center. They solve the issues for me, and do I keen to buy at that part of the process? I think so. So okay, what can we do? Yeah, Lina, sorry.
So
Yeah,
yep,
say.
just before you start, I would just like to let all the participants know that question section is waiting for your thoughts. So just be sure to share all of your questions so we can discuss them as soon as the webinar is going to the end. So just be active. Thanks.
Yeah, as well, I just fulfill Lina. As well, if you have thought about something which we haven't mentioned, please share us also, because it may be interesting and very relevant for all our attendees. So moving further, what can we do? As we was talking in the beginning, we went through the customer journey on a very high level. That being said, we need to understand the each of the touch point may require a lot of the effort to make the best from it. Even more effort will be needed to connect all touch points across different departments to reach the main goal, to make the customer happy. So we were talking quite a lot of time about high level things, but I hope that you got some ideas or thinking what you could improve in your organizations to make your customers happy, external customers happy, and the internal customers happy, which are your internal employees. So few statements from my side. Customer satisfaction is not only in people's hands who gets direct interactions with the customer. It's also in business development managers, CEOs, and who takes the action to who decides on the solutions, on the processes, and sees in the future how we're gonna behave, how we're gonna will grow, and what we need to install, to implement, to develop in our organization as software or hard solutions or soft ones like trainings and so on. So as well, smooth collaboration between different departments, it's a must. As Yanis was speaking about after sales support, I see a lot of interaction points between what was sold to the customer, what was promised to the customer, and that data should be exchanged back and forth. And if the company is may want to challenge the process in general and the that is long time we done it like that. We never tried to upsell the customer in the support process and so on. If you are keen to challenge yourself and try to do it, the exchange between the data exchange between different departments is a must. Shorter sales and overall revenue cycle, it's a possible. It's a possible only then when you have digitized information and you can analyze it. Without digitalization and analysis of the data, how you are working, how your employees are interacting with the customers, how much time it takes, where do you have the gaps, gray areas, and so on, you are not able to make the right decisions because you may lose it in the process. You may lose something in the process. So let's take the time to think about it, and it requires a time. It requires a lot of time sometimes, but it's worth to do it. And for the conclusion, we are talking about our goals, upselling, great references from the customers, happy customers. And if we want to achieve that, we need to step back and identify the journeys which customers take. So to set the priorities for most important gaps to improve the journey, because there are some at least in the process, I think. Automate that what can be automated, align all processes to act as one journey. It's achievable, but not always easy to do. And set the goals to track the change. Each change must be communicated. Each change must be agreed with the teams, between the teams, and each change must to have goals if you want to track it, the change and the performance. So in general, digitize, analyze, improve, repeat, and never stop. So for the conclusion, today we have covered only 3 pillars with different processes, different departments, different software tools, and different targets. All elements of the organization should work hand in hand to win the customers and their satisfaction. This is the main goal for the business, and this is what I wish for you. Be welcomed for upselling. Get great references, find new opportunities, and grow sustainable business. So thank you for today. That's it from us. And if you have any questions, you have a few more minutes to ask them, and we'll try to answer.
Thank you so much, Remigius, Yanis. So actually, we do have a couple of questions from the participants. So probably I can just read them, and you guys will decide who's gonna answer. Okay. So the first one, can I start?
Yeah, of course, go.
So the first one's from Rimantas. Sale and after sale support. It's like one system or two different?
Yes, who will answer?
So I can take that one. It depends, of course, from the company and the company needs. It could be both. But in my experience, in Baltic states, I haven't met any company who have found one best solution. Most of the cases, companies have a separate solution, but integrated with after-sales support solution.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can fulfill you a bit. Yeah, I agree, and I believe that it's not important to buy everything from one hand. There is benefits and there are issues with that, but the most important thing when you are looking to improve your processes, sales and after sales support, is to find the best integrations or the solutions who are integrated and have very tight synergy between the data exchange, the support function, user interface, where different solutions act as one. So this is the main important thing.
Yeah, I would add here that the most important is just to start to do, as I mentioned. Having something is better than having nothing.
Yeah. First things first. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. And the second question would be, it's actually a request for an advice. So what's your advice when the sale process is handled by a few different employees or teams?
Oh, so this question probably for me. Devil in the details, as usually, but in generally speaking, it's very good and it's very important to divide the whole process into the channels or into the stages. So managing one process, when one process is managed by different people, each people may be responsible for some specific stage. So when we are talking about the, I don't know, sales actions or something, customer proposal or card moves over the process, and then you can analyze how many of opportunities I have in pipeline, what's the stage or the amount of opportunities or questions or something or tasks in the current pipeline, what's the revenue in it, and who is responsible for it. So as well, when the process is divided into the stages, each task, opportunity, offer, invoice, or something, every action must to have a task and a deadline. If you don't have, if that isn't set up or added, then you may lose it or forget it, and customer will be lost or be unsatisfied. So hope that it answers to your questions, to this question.
Okay, thank you so much. I see that Kęstutis also commented that the topic is really important, and he says thanks for the presentation, and says that from his experience, customer experience is even more important than the own process, like excellence. So do you guys agree with that? That actually customer experience can be good, even though the process excellence is maybe not that advanced. Do you agree with that?
For sure.
Sure, and I think that could rely to Jonas' question as well. Could be linked.
Yes. So probably that's also for Remigius, maybe. Jonas asked to elaborate on which of the customer experience measures is the best.
I think there is no one answer. There are a few general experience like Net Promoter Score, customer effort score, customer satisfaction score. It's like general ones who describes the customer satisfaction in one of the verticals in the business. But it very depends on the business. It very depends how you interact with the customers, and it very depends how you need to measure the customer experience. For example, if you are providing the service via call center, there will be one measurement to measure the calls duration, to measure the amounts per user, to measure the dropped calls, and so on and so on. If you are measuring your field service customer experience, there are another metrics to use. So there are methodics and there are different metrics, and it must be aligned to your specific case. But general ones will be Net Promoter Score, customer satisfaction, and customer effort.
If I can add here, so from the my part, I would say that very important is the first contact resolution or first time fix rate. That's very important part, and as well as I mentioned about the referral. So customer referral rate as well is pretty important. And then what already Remigius mentioned, I think there is the most common is churn rate, so the customer churn rate and NPS score. That would be something to look at.
Okay, thank you. And probably the last one that we have from Jonas, he's asking to share tips and tricks which would make the touchdowns with the client less formal and more personalized. How much is that important for the customer experience? Who can elaborate on that?
Let's try to do it both, Yanis. Yeah.
So I can start if you want.
Yeah, proceed.
So that's how I yesterday at least came here to Vilnius, and was listening to very nice talk about this. And this is very important part is, do the companies really know the ICP? So, and then we can talk about non-personal communication. So do you guys know about your customers? Do you know where they go to, I don't know, shop? Do you know what habits they have? Do your customers like more to play football or something like that? And if you invest a bit more time by using different kind of solution, which Remigius is more expert than me, then I think we can talk in more non-formal communication, and even after sales field workers can receive that information from that tool about ICP of or KPIs of specific customers.
Yeah, exactly. And if we are trying, basically, Yanis, what you are saying is to analyze more deeply the data which you have already, collect more data as possible via different tools which you use also daily, calls, emails, some maybe questionnaires to customers, surveys, and so on. Generate that data to one place, analyze that with big data tools or whatever, and then provide that information to your sales or other teams to work with it. And this personalization makes the trip shorter to understanding the customer, to understanding its behavior, and to understanding its needs.
Sure, and there is one very important part for the field workers or after sales support, that you have to behave yourself like you as a manager or C-level management for those field workers, as you would like to have the communication with your customers. And I'm not talking about the money, because it's already a long time that money is not a priority, and it's about the internal communication with your employees. And again, it's about the training, soft skills for those after sales support. And when you are approaching your technicians, field workers like that, you can expect that they will communicate with the customer the same way as you do with your field workers.
Okay, thank you, Yanis. Yeah, and I would like to add from myself that I do agree with that when the market is like so saturated, everyone's offering similar products, similar prices, customer experience is probably the main criteria that actually, allows you to be better than some of the competitors. So if you have a good customer experience and you can share it with them, so I think that that's really important thing. Okay, so we are done with the questions for today. If I will receive any after the webinar, we will be answering you directly. So we will be sharing the recording as we've mentioned, and probably I want to thank everyone who spoke today. So Remigius, Yanis, thank you so much. And also all the participants, thank you for the questions. Thank you for being active. And yeah, can't wait to see you on another one.
Yes. Thank you, Remigius and Elena, for keeping me here. And I really appreciate your time. And thanks for people to being connected here.
Yeah. So my thanks also for having me, and be different in a good way. Ciao, guys.
Yeah. All the best. Bye.
Bye-bye.